Hello, and welcome to this module on cryptocurrency. So obviously, Nigeria has been a buzz over the new CBN directives about cryptocurrency, forbidding banks to serve as intermediaries for transferring fiat to cryptocurrency exchanges and for transferring your fiat from the cryptocurrency exchanges to bank accounts. So what I'm going to do in this module is beyond just doing an introduction on cryptocurrency. I'll more specifically address some of the CBN issues and how you can still trade cryptocurrency if you want to, albeit in a legal and regulated manner. So that's what I'm going to do in this module. So let's begin. First of all, I'll recommend this book by Jonathan Hobbs. It's called The Crypto Portfolio. For those who are new to cryptocurrency, what this book does is to provide an overview of the common terms, what cryptocurrency is all about from an introductory perspective. So if you read this book, it will give you a pretty good understanding of cryptocurrency in simple language. So if you're a newbie to cryptocurrency, I will recommend this book. It's available on Amazon and you can get the e-copy on Kindle as well. Now, to begin, I just want to lay a foundation on what blockchain technology is, because that's the technology that cryptocurrency is built on. And you'll find that blockchain technology is wider than cryptocurrency. So while cryptocurrency is the financial application of blockchain technology, the technology itself can be used for so much more. So it's important to go from general to specific. Let's understand the larger world of blockchain technology before we go down to the specifics of cryptocurrency, which is just a single application of blockchain technology. So here's how blockchain technology works. It's a way of transferring, collating, or generating information in a format that cannot be altered. And that is completely decentralized. So it's not controlled by a centralized authority or a centralized authority, such that it's not open to malicious tampering or maybe independent tampering or alteration. So this chart, I think, just breaks it down in very simple terms. So the first stage is that a transaction is generated or requested. So in the case of cryptocurrency, it's someone who wants to transfer value from one party to another. So a transaction is requested, but if it's a document, you could say a piece of information is generated. Now, what happens is that different pieces of information all over the world are batched into blocks. So it's basically to make the system efficient. So as opposed to each piece of information being validated independently or individually, batches of information is batched into what is called blocks. Now, what happens when that information is batched? It's that the information is then sent to every node in the network. Now, what are the nodes? The nodes are simply computers all over the world that have been set up to validate the different transactions that are being sent out into the global network. So, for example, I can have a computer running a particular software that has been designed and configured to interpret information that is broadcast, to validate information that has been broadcast, and to send my results that information is authentic back to the network. So that's why it's decentralized, because anybody can set up the software on their computer anywhere in the world, and you can have as many computers or as many nodes. That's why they're called nodes, because they are points where the software is running. So what happens is that the computers all over the world that are running, that particular software that is configured to that type of information, they receive that information once it's broadcast from the person that originates it, and then they begin to run the software to try to interpret it and try to validate that information is authentic. So in the case of cryptocurrency, I want to send maybe Bitcoin to someone. I send out my request. It's batched, the different, information that has been sent out will be batched into blocks, and then the blocks are then sent out to the different computers that are running the software. Now, what happens after that is that the nodes then run the software and validate the transaction. So remember, these transactions are encrypted. So, in the case of cryptocurrency, that's why it's called cryptocurrency, because they're actually encrypted, and you need to run a cryptographic software to be able to decode that information is valid. So the nodes run that software. If the information matches based on the specific, terms and, terms of reference for that type of transaction, once it matches, they then validate that, yes, this is a valid, cryptocurrency transaction, or this is a valid information, and then they broadcast that to the network. For doing that work, they receive a little reward. So in the case of cryptocurrency nodes that validate transactions, they receive a little bit of cryptocurrency for being the first to validate that transaction. So it's a race against time. The nodes that are able to validate first get the reward. So that's why mining, to some extent, is big business around the world. People tend to add more computers to their network so that they can, be first to validate the transaction. So once they validate, that block is seen as authentic and then is added to the existing blockchain, and it's there forever. After that, you can no longer alter it, because remember, other blocks are being added after that one. So it's very difficult for you to then go back, to alter. Once you try to alter an existing block, it then has a spillover effect on the block before it and the block after it. So it's extremely difficult, to try to alter the existing blockchain. So you can see that the blockchain has various applications. It's not just for cryptocurrency, which is a form of financial transaction. It can be used for record keeping. So for example, you're trying to keep a record of census information. You're trying to keep a record of identification information, say passports information or driver's license information that you don't want to be altered. Essentially, you're trying to keep track of contracts. Once contracts have been signed, you want to be able to add them to a digital blockchain such that they cannot be altered. So blockchain technology has a lot of applications beyond speculative cryptocurrency. It can be used in real world situations and for real world business applications. So now that we've understood the general, let's go to the specific, which is cryptocurrency. So what is cryptocurrency? It's basically a financial instrument that has been created by independent individuals. So it's completely decentralized. It's not issued by a central authority like the Central Bank of Nigeria. But as an individual, I can decide, I want to create a cryptocurrency for gaming enthusiasts, or I want to create a cryptocurrency for those who like fashion. And we build our own network, we issue our own tokens. And as long as we can get enough people to buy into the idea, it has value. So as long as you can get, say, 100,000 people who like the cryptocurrency that you've issued and are willing to buy and sell it, it immediately creates value. So that's why it's decentralized, because it puts the power into the hands of the individuals as opposed to a central issuing authority. So it's completely decentralized. And like I said, when we're talking about blockchain technology, anybody can decide to run the software on their computer and they will create a node for that particular token that has been issued. It's also anonymous. So even though right now cryptocurrency exchanges all over the world are beginning to institute know your customer, that is KYC rules, a lot of cryptocurrency exchanges are still largely anonymous. It's also borderless. So in Nigeria, I can trade cryptocurrency with someone in South Korea. I can trade with someone in the UK or the US. So it's borderless. It's one of the few types of financial instruments where nobody checks whether your passport is green, where nobody worries about the reputation of Nigerians. That's why a lot of Nigerians have embraced it, because nobody's judging you for being Nigerian, unlike the traditional banking systems and the traditional global asset management system. So it's completely borderless. It's also 24/7. So while stock markets operate from maybe 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. every day and don't open on Saturdays and Sundays, cryptocurrency exchanges are open 24/7. So you can literally trade and make money at any time of the day and any day of the week. Cryptocurrencies can be traded. So people like cryptocurrencies because apart from people putting a store of value or giving tokens a certain level of value, you can also trade it. So once a token has been massively adopted by hundreds of thousands of people, you can then trade it on exchanges. So that's I think why people love the concept of cryptocurrencies, that you're not stuck with it forever. If you want to buy it, if you want to sell it, if you want to trade it, there's that flexibility of being able to trade it on exchanges around the world. Now, there are different types of cryptocurrency. Of course, Bitcoin was the first largely adopted one. So it's seen as the gold standard of cryptocurrency. But you also have altcoins. So altcoins are traditionally coins that came after Bitcoin. So you hear of coins like Ethereum, you hear of coins like Neo, you hear of coins like Verge or Ripple. So these are coins that came after Bitcoin. And you'll notice that each type of coin or each type of token, sometimes tokens and coins are used interchangeably, usually has a function. So Bitcoin is largely positioned as a financial instrument. Ethereum, on the other hand, is largely positioned as a blockchain technology that facilitates contracts. And then the coins are issued. The Ethereum coin has been issued to reward those who validate those contracts around the world. So a lot of times you'll find that cryptocurrency started out as a technology, and then the coins were then issued to reward the nodes and the networks that validate the transaction. So usually it's a progression. Tokens, like I had mentioned, are issued by the underlying technology companies that are trying to push out, a particular blockchain technology. So like I said, in the case of Ethereum, it's a type of technology that validates contracts. But then the Ethereum token or coin was issued to reward miners, because why are people going to, use up their electricity, use up their, time, use up their computers to run the software that validates your transactions if they're not getting paid, for all of that work and effort? So a lot of times the technologies issue those tokens or coins to reward the nodes or the miners that validate those transactions. So this is really the universe of cryptocurrencies, and there's some new types of financial instruments and technologies I'll talk about a little later on. Now, as to the legal status of cryptocurrency in Nigeria, banks are not allowed to help you transfer your naira to a cryptocurrency exchange to buy, say, Bitcoin, and they're not allowed. When you sell your Bitcoin on the exchange, they're not allowed to transfer your naira to your bank account. So essentially, the banking industry has been removed from the buying and selling of cryptocurrencies. So right now, the implication is that the only way you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies is through individual parties, so a peer-to-peer transaction that does not involve the banks, because the banks really can't tell you, what to do with your funds and who to give your funds to and all of that. But at least they can determine the linkage between the bank account and the cryptocurrency exchanges. So it's more time consuming, and it's also a bit risky, because in doing peer-to-peer transactions, there's a level of trust that is required, because essentially what's happening is that if I have Bitcoin, I have to look for someone who wants to buy, and if I want to sell Bitcoin, I have to look for someone. So what a lot of the exchanges are doing for the Nigerian market is they're providing an escrow system. So they try to match you with people who want to buy and sell, such that they provide that trusted environment to facilitate that transaction. But of course, there's still an inherent risk, because there's a human element involved in that. Also, there are concerns, especially for individuals that are heavy cryptocurrency traders. Once you begin to have interactions with them, even if it's a bank-to-bank transfer, you also get on your bank radar, and you also get on the CBN radar, and your accounts can be closed. So there are restrictions to this new status quo, so to speak. But the good thing about cryptocurrency is that because it's not restricted to Nigeria alone, you can trade cryptocurrencies in other jurisdictions where cryptocurrency is regulated. So if you have a bank account anywhere else in the world, you can still do that fiat to exchange transaction. So what's going to happen is that, unfortunately, people are going to move their trades to other jurisdictions that allow for such bank to exchange transactions, and a lot of cryptocurrency trading is going to become peer-to-peer within trusted networks. So we'll see how it goes. I know at some point the regulation will evolve, because cryptocurrency and blockchain, these are things that are here to stay. So let's see how that evolves. But like I said, right now, the only way to trade cryptocurrency is via peer-to-peer exchanges, which some of the traditional exchanges are trying to facilitate through an escrow system, and then also by going to other jurisdictions where cryptocurrency has already been regulated, and there's a system for the bank exchange handshake, so to speak. Okay, now here are some terminologies for cryptocurrency that you will hear time and time again. Your wallet is your account. So similar to a bank account, your wallet is where you store cryptocurrency. An exchange is where you trade. So I've been talking a lot about exchanges. An exchange is simply that, an exchange. It's where you go to buy and it's where you go to sell. Mining is the process of validating transactions. So remember, I kept on talking about nodes. It's almost synonymous with mining. So mining is the process of validating transactions. It's also the process of issuing new coins as well. So excuse me, if I've created a token, as nodes begin to adopt the software that underlines that token, they also have the power to mine or issue new tokens. So mining encompasses that process, the ability to issue new tokens based on the software that underlines that particular token or coin, and they also have the power to validate the transactions. Transaction ID is a way to verify a transaction. So anytime you trade a cryptocurrency or you buy and sell, usually a transaction ID will be issued. So similar to a bank transfer, when you do a bank transfer, in Nigeria, there's a 30-digit number that is created that you can use to verify whether that transaction was successful or not, and it's usually found on your transaction receipt. So in the same way, with cryptocurrency, there's a transaction ID that when you click on it, you can actually verify that transaction was successful. So that way people can say, oh, I sent you cryptocurrency and you didn't get it or something like that. There's a way to verify that. ICO's initial coin offerings are like stock market IPO. So again, like I said, a technology is created to facilitate specific types of transactions, and the individuals behind that technology issue tokens to finance the development of that product, and it's called an initial coin offering. And what they give during that process is a token. Eventually that token will become traded on an exchange. At that point, the terminology will change. Some people will call it a coin, some people will call it a token, because at that point, once it gets to an exchange and you can trade it for real world value, at that point, a lot of people will begin to call it a coin. So some of these terminologies are interchangeable. A fork is an improved version of a cryptocurrency. So sometimes certain groups would improve on the software, or improve on the cryptographic function that runs a particular cryptocurrency, and then a new version emerges, which is called a fork. A lot of times when a new version emerges, individuals holding the existing coin will be given an equivalent amount of the new version. So anytime you hear about a fork, don't be afraid, because usually the new version, you will get an equivalent number of the new version. So sometimes you can find 2-3 versions running at the same time. So you hear of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Black, Bitcoin Gold. These are just improved versions of an existing cryptocurrency. So at the end of the day, it's really the most popular version that becomes the most dominant and the one that has the widest adoption. A decentralized exchange, it plays the very same function of as an exchange, but it's completely anonymous. So it's almost like a peer-to-peer version of an exchange. You're not required to provide KYC documentation. The exchange is just a middleman and matches those who want to buy with those who want to sell. So decentralized exchanges have come up because people are a bit afraid of existing exchange. What are they doing with all the data that they collect? If there's a hack or if anything happens to the exchange, all their cryptocurrencies will be gone. So that's why decentralized exchanges have become popular, because they're simply middlemen. They don't hold your cryptocurrency. They don't store your information. Once that middleman transaction is done, you can disengage. DeFi is a burgeoning field in cryptocurrency. It's decentralized finance, and it's basically having cryptocurrency versions of popular financial instruments. So insurance, loans, you can get a loan, but instead of you getting fiat currency, say dollars, you get cryptocurrency, and then that cryptocurrency you can always go sell it for fiat. So decentralized finance is a way of using cryptocurrency to replace traditional financial instruments. And I think loan products are some of the most popular DeFi transactions all over the world, because of course, using blockchain technology, your loan contract cannot be altered. So what they've done is to merge the financial aspect of cryptocurrency with the validation aspect of cryptocurrency. So if a loan product is issued to you, the contract cannot be changed. It's airtight. And because there's no fiat involved, you don't need to go through the normal regulatory process. I'm loaning you cryptocurrency and then you pay back, using cryptocurrency as well. Okay. NFT is another new field in the cryptocurrency world, non-fungible tokens. That's what it's called. This is popular in the art world. So you find that a lot of artists who develop memes and don't have a way to exploit that, or don't have a way to monetize that, they go to a decentralized exchange and then they issue non-fungible tokens so that they can monetize what they've created. It's a very interesting field, because for memes, once it's already online, anybody can use it, anybody can pirate it. So you kind of wonder about the value at the end of the day, if it's something that is available to everyone. But what the art world has started doing is that for certain priceless artworks that otherwise would just be hanging in your house or hanging in a museum, what some art owners have done is to issue tokens. So if I have an artwork worth say $1 million that's just really just hanging in my home, yes, it may appreciate in value, but maybe I want to cash out that value now. What I would do is issue say 10 tokens based on that artwork. The tokens cannot be increased. So unlike traditional cryptocurrency that the miners sometimes can issue new tokens, what with NFT, the number of tokens is set. So if I issue 10 and people decide to pay say $2 million each to own a piece of this artwork, at the end of the day, I can raise say 20 million instead of raising 10 million, which is the worth of that artwork. I pocket my 20 million, create a contract, an immutable contract that can never be changed, such that each person owns a piece of this artwork. I can put it in my will, and if they want to keep trading that artwork and the painting keeps increasing in value, without having to go through a traditional auction house or a traditional broker. So there are all these really unique experiments that are being done with blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, and I'm sure there's more to come. Now, how to begin? Now, if you want to start trading cryptocurrency, if you're going through a traditional exchange that is regulated, you will need KYC documents. So as long as you don't want to go through a decentralized exchange and you want to use a traditional exchange, you will need KYC documents. So the same KYC documents as your investment account. You need to set up two-factor authentication. Google Authenticator is the most popular. It just helps such that if your email address is ever hacked, nobody can access your cryptocurrency accounts. So two-factor authentication is just a higher level of security for your cryptocurrency accounts. Set up a wallet. So this is where you store your cryptocurrency. So once you're done trading on an exchange, whether centralized or decentralized, you can keep and store your cryptocurrency in a wallet. It's not good practice to keep your cryptocurrencies on an exchange, just in case the exchange is hacked. But in your wallet, you own the private keys. So it's almost like a bank account number that only you know. You own your private keys, and you can port that private key, from one wallet to another. So it's almost like having a phone number that you can port from one network to the other. Once you have your private keys, your cryptocurrency belongs to you and you alone, and you're not tied to any particular wallet. Okay. And then, start to buy. So whether it's BTC or ETC or any platform, remember in Nigeria, you have to go through a peer-to-peer exchange like Binance or Remitano. If you're anywhere else in the world, Coinbase is the most popular right now. And remember what I said, keep it legal. Don't do anything to contravene CBN rules. If you have the opportunity to open a cryptocurrency account in a jurisdiction that is already regulated and that allows the bank exchange handshake, then please, by all means, do so. Okay. If you want to trade cryptocurrency, so you don't just want to hold, buy and keep in your wallet. You want to trade, you want to, take advantage of the price movements, kind of like, stock market exchanges, then please join a trading exchange. Monitor trends. There are different platforms that allow you to monitor prices, monitor, the dips, the price dips, the price highs, so you know when to buy and sell. Coinmarketcap.com, CoinGecko, CryptoCompare. Set up notifications. So if you're not a typical day trader, you're not going to be spending like 5 hours a day in front of a computer. You could set up a notification. Blockfolio app does that very well, and it's a phone app. So when the price dips, you get a notification which will tell you it's a good time to buy. And then when the price rises, it will send you a notification as well, which tells you this is a good time to sell. And then you make your profit in the margins in between. So you can set up notifications on an app, follow the news. A lot of people who trade cryptocurrency, because it's highly speculative, you need to be plugged into the news so that you know what's happening with the coins or the tokens that you're holding. You can get training, join a community. I've provided a list of resources for those who want to learn about trading, cryptocurrency trading. So check the resources section of my investment course, and then join a community. There are several Telegram communities, WhatsApp communities. Some you pay for, some are free, so that you can get a sense of what's going on within the cryptocurrency community. And then if you're going to be trading regularly, be prepared to enter and exit quickly. Things change very quickly in cryptocurrency. Like I said, it's 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if it's something you want to do, you have to be plugged in. Now, these are just examples of wallets. So this is what the blockchain interface looks like. You can see it has a dashboard, tells you your balance, tells you, what it's worth, based on today's price. This is a buying and selling platform, Binance. So once you click on, you register first, and then when you click on buy, it then takes you to the peer-to-peer exchange where you can do a direct transaction with someone else who wants to buy or who wants to sell. And like I said, right now, that's the only way to buy and sell crypto in Nigeria without, contravening the CBN rules. But like I said, if you're then unfortunate to buy and sell, with an individual who is already on the CBN radar and who is already known to be a cryptocurrency trader, then at that point you're on your own. Okay, this is an interface for an exchange. You can see it's almost like a stock trading interface where you can bid. You can do a limit buy, you can do a market buy. So you need to learn how to trade if you're ever going to use an exchange interface. This is what the transaction ID I was talking about, where once you do a transaction and you click on the ID information, it takes you to this interface where you can see whether that transaction is confirmed or unconfirmed. If you see unconfirmed transaction, just wait a little bit. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for transactions to be confirmed. So if you refresh and come back in say 15 minutes, a lot of transactions would have gone through at that point, because when there's huge traffic on the network, it takes longer for transactions to be confirmed, and you usually pay a higher transaction fee when there's a huge the network is dealing with huge volume. So what are the fees? When you buy, typically you pay a fee to the exchange that's no more than 0.5% of the transaction value. Same thing with when you sell. It's not free, because remember, you're using their platform to facilitate that buy and sell transaction. So usually there's a fee attached, and then when you transfer from the exchange to your personal wallet or from your wallet to the exchange, there's usually a transfer or network fee, and the fee is variable, based on the volume on the network. So that's the introduction to cryptocurrency. Read the resources, and I wish you all the best.